This service exists for three reasons. First is while creating HR content that people actually want to consume, I noticed that more and more people have expressed their interest in the Amazon interviewing process, and some have even asked me whether if I coached you for your Amazon interview. So I made a poll and a good 100 people thought it was a good idea. Second is I get the unique opportunity to work with exceptional people, and I'm very thankful for this, and I very much consider this a privilege. And finally is after trialing this service for some time, I genuinely believe that I can add value if you're considering applying for a job at Amazon. Next, you should consider my services, and by the way, I'm Romanian, for the following reasons. Number one is this: I'm someone who invests a lot of resources into learning how to listen to other people. And one of my core competencies is something I very much enjoy doing is critical thinking. So many of my clients actually are surprised with the amount of feedback that I can provide them with during our coaching sessions. The second reason here is, as you probably noticed on my YouTube channel, I have a ton of up-to-date content about the Amazon interviewing process, and this can be quite useful for some candidates. And to give to reason by analogy here, there are two types of doctors, like there are two types of coaches: the generalists who can help you in a multitude of domains, and there are specialists such as surgeons who specialize in one thing which they do well. Now in the coaching industry it's somewhat the same thing. There are generalist coaches who can provide you with invaluable insight into how to get a job at any company. And there are coaches like me that are specialized on a certain niche, such as the Amazon interview. And last but not least here, I also have a ton of experience in the HR industry, and I actually followed every step, every digital step of a few hundred hiring managers in the US services industry. And I also hired upwards of 50 people for my own projects. Most of my clients are US-based, applying for roles on the West Coast. However, I also coached people in Australia and Europe. Most of the people that I coach are applying for senior roles, preparing for the loop. But I also coached people preparing for the first interview and continue with the preparation for the loop as well. Now, if you're interested to see, here are some of the position titles that I coached so far. And finally, when it comes to how does a typical coaching session look like, the first thing you should probably keep in mind is that it's always you driving the conversation. Now, this being said, here are some interesting scenarios here. The first is people that really don't have a lot of time to prepare for their on-site interview, and this usually happens because Amazon told them just 1 week or at most 2 weeks beforehand that they would like to invite them for an on-site. Needless to say, these are usually exceptional people. The second scenario here is people that have 2 or more weeks to prepare for the loop, with whom I usually schedule a 1-hour call to decide what's the best approach for their specific role and for their specific experience, and then we'll schedule 1 or 2 hour sessions to manage the progress and to do the role play. Now, why also 2 hours? Why not just 1 hour? Because I noticed that 2 hours helps a lot to make the information stick better and to create a certain type of rhythm that is closer to the actual experience. The third scenario that I want to talk about here is people that book time with me exclusively for role play. So this could be either 1 or 2 hour sessions for the reasons that I just mentioned. And this is usually for people that previously prepared for the behavioral interview, or people that have previously worked in HR positions, but whom would like to hear feedback from someone more familiar with the specific types of requirements, with the leadership principles and all that stuff that are relevant to the Amazon interviewing process. And last but not least, it also happened for me to have clients that are my YouTube fans preparing for a YouTube interview, but they didn't really need a formal training, so we just run informal sessions, exchanging information and interesting tips and tricks.